With limited options for entertainment right now, venues across the tri-state are looking forward to welcoming guests and customers once again. WCPO 9 News reporter Whitney Miller spoke to the team at Scene 75 about the big changes it's made to be able to reopen.
It's a wait-and-see game.
The team at Scene 75 in Milford is patiently waiting for guests to return. The indoor entertainment space will reopen in July with a new focus: your safety.
During the last 3 months, we actually spent a lot of time thinking through every single attraction that we offer.
From bowling,
every other lane will be used. All of the balls will be disinfected and sanitized.
To go-kart racing.
After every trip on the go-karts, when they pull back in, we'll have a sanitation crew that is wiping down the steering wheel, spraying out the seat.
Those changes are part of the Stay Safe Together playbook that CEO Jonah Sandler and his team created. They want customers to see those changes and feel safe while they play.
What we've seen in Columbus to start us off is that a lot of families are wanting to do smaller gatherings, but they want to have fun at the same time. So they're beyond the garage barbecue. They're ready to come on out and have a good time.
So that's why they want people to know about Scene 75's party rooms, spaces for small groups and even weddings to enjoy. The team says while losing staff and revenue has been a dark cloud, it hasn't taken this off time for granted.
So we've scooted things out, we've painted, we've done extra cleaning, we've redone our employee handbooks. We used all that time to prepare to be bigger, better, and stronger when we open.
Whitney Miller, WCPO 9 News.
One man says he knows the emotional toll the COVID-19 can have, so he's starting a therapy group for survivors. Drew Abbott says he was the first COVID-19 patient at Good Samaritan Hospital, and even though he survived, his troubles were far from over. Abbott says he started experiencing symptoms of PTSD, so he came up with a support group for survivors who might be dealing with similar issues.
It's been well documented that that kind of support and discussion can be therapeutic and helpful.
Drew Abbott's support group starts this week. For people who are counting on unemployment because of the pandemic, the path to get benefits has had plenty of issues. Tonight, we take a look at 2 new issues that have popped up in the tri-state and how you can navigate them.
This is WCPO 9 News.
New information about more issues in the tri-state with unemployment, keeping people from getting benefits during the pandemic. So frustrating for so many. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Craig McKee.
And I'm Kristen Hartman. In Ohio, a new glitch with the state's website. In Kentucky, the program is out of money for now. WCPO 9 News reporter Courtney Francisco explains how some people who need help aren't getting it and what the states are doing to fix the problems.
Imagine being unable to pay July rent this month or buy groceries. I spoke to a local family who is still worrying about that, and we're going on month 4 of the pandemic layoffs.
It's me, my husband, and I got 3 little kids too.
New problems in Kentucky's unemployment benefits system are adding to unsolved old problems.
I mean, I'm a lot like most people probably are. I live paycheck to paycheck. So I didn't have anything extra saved up.
Emily Miller says she applied for benefits on March 23rd, and she's still waiting to receive them. She learned Friday that Kentucky's Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund ran out of money. This after she made 2 trips to the state capitol to get help.
A phone call, no email, no correspondence, nothing.
Then there's Alex Tripp and Amelia. She says Ohio Jobs and Family Services told her on the phone Saturday a glitch in Ohio's system has delayed her benefits.
She was like, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen this happen before. I don't know what's going on.
Tripp says JFS scheduled an appointment to work on her case in 2 weeks.
And I'm left stranded here with no help, no money.
JFS also says at least 2 people in Ohio have received letters saying they do not qualify because they applied outside the pandemic window, even though that window is still open. Today, I asked JFS about that issue. A spokesperson tells me, quote, "This issue was not a widespread issue and was isolated to a small number of individuals. The issue has since been corrected." In Kentucky, the Commonwealth is borrowing $865 million from the federal government this week to help replenish unemployment funds. But this mom's rent is due in 2 days.
I'm paying my rent late this month. Another $50 out of my pocket that I don't have.
Miller is back to work now, playing catch up on bills. Kentucky unemployment leaders tell me they're looking into her case. Reporting in Cincinnati, Courtney Francisco, WCPO 9 News.
Courtney, thank you. And if you have been affected by the recent issues with unemployment in Ohio or Kentucky, you can email us at newstips@wcpo.com. We will try to get answers for you.
You know, as we mentioned at the top of this show, CPS is finalizing its fall school plans today. The return to school is top of mind for anyone with children, of course, and those who work in the schools as well. Now, we've spoken a lot about different plans on making sure kids are safe, but one English teacher actually reached out directly to us because she hasn't heard a lot, really, of concerns about teachers themselves, especially those who are older. So that's what we asked Governor DeWine, that is, today. Here's his response.
Discussions with superintendents, I've said, you know, what should you worry about? Every school has people that we should worry about. I mean, we're going to worry about the kids, we're going to worry about everybody, but absolutely, no, this has been one of the major things that we've looked at.
And if you have something on your mind, by the way, and you'd like to ask Governor DeWine or other state leaders, you can submit those questions through WCPO's Facebook page or email newsdesk@wcpo.com. To Kentucky now, where more businesses are reopening. Bars, wedding venues, and youth sports leagues, they're all reopening today. Gatherings of up to 50 people are also now permitted. Public pools and swimming areas are also open, but with changes to keep guests and staff safe. Now, all swimmers must follow social distancing guidelines and are also encouraged to wear masks when they're outside of the pool.
And there's more, Craig. Kentuckians are again able to visit their loved ones in assisted living facilities and personal care homes. New guidelines include wearing masks, temperature checks, only 2 visitors per resident, and of course, social distancing. Facilities must also immediately screen anyone who came in contact with visitors. Even with strict guidelines in place, some feel it's still too early to allow in-person visitations.
So, I mean, I understand people want to see their loved ones, and I want to see my mother too, but I'd sure like to keep her around a lot longer. And I just think this virus is not going away.
Group activities and communal dining are also allowed as long as it's fewer than 10 people in a group. Meanwhile, in Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine is expected to announce plans regarding nursing homes sometime this week.
Well, over the weekend, a report claims that Russian military officers offered the Taliban bounties to kill U.S. troops in Afghanistan. The White House continues to push back, saying that the intelligence reports have not been confirmed. However, Russia also calls the accusations, quote, baseless. President Donald Trump says that he was never informed of the intel and denies being briefed about it, something officials also backed up today.
There is no consensus within the intelligence community on these allegations, and in effect, there are dissenting opinions from some in the intelligence community with regards to the veracity of what's being reported.
She also says that some congressional members have now been invited to the White House to learn more details about the allegations. Meanwhile, members of the House and Senate both have requested briefings for all members of both chambers. Well, utility providers in Indiana have lost a bid now to charge customers more money to recoup financial losses related to the pandemic. Several utilities, including Duke Energy, claimed that the shutdown orders and remote working caused a significant loss in revenues. Today, a regulatory agency ruled against any price increases. They also announced an extension of the state's moratorium on disconnections.
We finally know when Garth Brooks is coming back to Cincinnati. Here's a hint. You're going to have to wait another year. Brooks was supposed to play Paul Brown Stadium in May, but that was pushed back to June, and then that date was also canceled. So he'll give it a third try on May 1st of next year. Ticketmaster says all tickets for the original dates will be honored on the new one. Today, some students in Lincoln Heights have some new summer reading material. The Scripps Foundation, an arm of our company, EW Scripps, teamed up with Scholastic to hand out books to students K through 5. Lincoln Heights Elementary set up a drive-through to hand off the books. Kids got 3 new books for the summer. Everyone knows what kind of school year we've had, so today means a lot to all the educators.
No one was trained for this, so we missed the social emotional connection to our children, the structure, that daily hug. We don't know if we'll ever go back to that. It's been the most challenging period of my career.
Oh, for so many people, yeah. The school worked with teachers to make sure students are matched with books that fit their interest and reading levels best.
I love the book giveaway. It's such a special moment every year. You know, another weekend of nationwide protests ended with the video you're seeing here, an armed confrontation in St. Louis. Just ahead, why this couple pulled out weapons on a crowd of peaceful protesters. Sherry?
And we are looking right now out at our 9 first warning Doppler. We haven't seen a lot of rain and storms in our vicinity, but we have a chance to get some of that later tonight and overnight. We'll map it all out and time it out for you coming up.
Welcome back. Protests in St. Louis took a scary turn as a couple came out of their house carrying a rifle and a handgun. You're taking a look at the video here. Hundreds of protesters peacefully walked by on this private street near the home of the mayor of St. Louis. The group marched to demand the mayor resign after she read the names and addresses of several residents who supported defunding the police department there. The homeowners say they were having dinner outside when the crowd broke through the gates that were marked with no trespassing signs. Mark McCloskey, the man carrying the rifle, claims that he and his family were threatened during that. Protests over George Floyd's death have renewed interest in a case that happened nearly a year ago. 23-year-old Elijah McLain died during an encounter with police last August while walking home from a store. Now, over the weekend, thousands protested his death in Aurora, Colorado, even shutting down a highway at one point. Somebody called the police because they thought McLain was suspicious at the time. He was wearing a mask when he was stopped by police, but his family says he wore them often because he was anemic and would get cold. Police claim McLain reached for their guns, and he died after being put into a chokehold and was injected with ketamine to subdue him.
The Cincinnati Police Department hosted its open house today. It's part of the department's summer youth employment program. That program offers young cadets the opportunity to learn more about a career in law enforcement, help out their communities, and earn some money.
This is really important. We really were hopeful that we would be able to have the funding to be able to have this cadet program, to get 40 kids, to give them jobs for the summers. That's so important. And especially right now at this time that our city and our nation is going through. This is an opportunity that these young people get to see firsthand the work that our officers do, to ask questions like I made myself available to them, to answer any questions that they have on day one.
And dozens of cadets are taking part in that program.
I'm John Matteries. Why can't you find Conn's Wieners, a Cincinnati staple when it comes to hot dogs? We'll go tracking them down coming up on WCPO 9 News.
You know, when you think of longtime Cincinnati foods, you may think of Grater's ice cream, Skyline chili, or Conn's hot dogs. You might want one right now, but one of them has actually disappeared during the pandemic. You might